Hi everybody, Joel Kennedy with Kennedy Violins. So if you play a stringed instrument, a lot of times you're wondering, what fingerings do I use? Do I use the first position, second position, third position? What do I do? How do I know? Right? I mean, if my teacher doesn't tell me or my friends don't tell me or the fingering's not written in, how do you know what fingerings to use? Well, today, I'm just going to show you how most professionals or teachers or whatever would think about it, right? The thought process that goes through their mind when they're deciding the fingerings, and then hopefully that'll give you a little bit of insight so you can figure out what the best fingerings are for you. Okay, so there's basically two primary considerations for trying to figure out what fingerings to use. Okay, so the first one, I'll lump a few things in here. The first one would be your sound quality or phrase quality. So a lot of times if you have a phrase, you don't want to interrupt that phrase. You don't want to interrupt it with change of sound quality, like bright to dark, or you don't want to interrupt it with a shift, right? Right? So a lot of times if you can find fingerings that will interrupt that phrase the least, okay? The second consideration would be the ease or consistency in which you can play it correctly, right? So this, to some extent, this kind of comes down to your ability, right? The more ability that you have, the more options that you'll have in terms of fingering. You know, you might find a fingering that works really well, but it's not super reliable because you're not used to shifting in that particular position. Or you'll find that it works really well at a slow speed, but then when you pick it up, it's like, oh, crazy. It's like all wonky and you just can't do it. So you've got to find another fingering because it's just not efficient and doesn't work. Okay, but those are basically the two considerations. And what you're trying to do is you're just trying to find a happy medium. You're trying to get the best of both worlds. Sometimes you just can't make either one of them completely happy. You just have to compromise. So it's really, so the fingerings that you pick, it's a very, very individual thing. But today I'm just going to show you kind of the thought process of that a lot of players go through, especially people in orchestra. They're all given the same music, but they have to figure out, well, what fingerings do I use, right? Sometimes those fingerings are dictated by the concertmaster or the principal. They'll say, look, you need to play this all on the D string or whatever. But a lot of times, no, it's just you're left to your own devices and you figure out your own fingering. So let's just do that. Okay, so for today's video, I'm just using an excerpt from Maria from West Side Story, Leonard Bernstein. I recently did a video, a play along with a bunch of Bernstein songs, so I thought, hey, why not? Okay, this one's it's a little bit advanced, I suppose. This particular excerpt's a little bit more advanced than some of the stuff that I do, but that's because there's more options for fingerings and positions and stuff when the music is harder, what can I say? Okay, so in the beginning, and by the way, there's a PDF, you can download it, just look, there's a link, you can click on the PDF so you can see the same music that I'm looking at and you can follow along. Okay, so in the first section here, we have a melody. Right? So it's written in without slur. But more than likely, most orchestras are going to put a slur in there. Okay, so right off the bat, what do we not like about what I just did? Okay, it's from the E to the A. Okay, and so what does that mean? Okay, so I'm having to change my bow, which kind of interrupts the phrase a little bit, but mostly it's bad, I think, because I'm changing the sound quality. So I'm going from a bright string to a warm string. Right? Wouldn't it be nice if I could keep it warm the whole time? Okay, so what are my options? Okay, so first is first position. Okay, now let's say I want to try it all in third position. Let's just see what happens. So now I'm going to start third finger instead of first finger. First, third. So now I'm going back and forth between third and second, third and first. Ah. Not very reliable, especially in a hot studio where my fingers are sweaty and I can't shift. So. Okay, well, it's warmer. The whole thing is a lot warmer, but I don't know if my shifts are really going to be that reliable and in tune. And it also is kind of interrupts the phrase a little bit. But it's not too bad. So that might be a decent option. So our next option would be second position. Let's see what happens. So okay, well that's better. I mean, the whole thing is warm. The whole thing is on the A. I didn't have to shift, but I have that one. I really don't like that. Now, I can just play that C natural on that E string a little bit differently so it won't stand out so much. Okay, that might be okay. Our last option, for example, would be, what if I did the whole thing in second position, but for that C on the E, what if I just shifted to third temporarily and then went back to second? Now, the only reason why this might be a good option is because going from a second position or second finger in third position to a second position in second position is actually a very small shift, and a lot of times you can do it with people not really hearing it. Okay, so that's 4 different ways that I could play that. So what you would do might be different than what I would do, but that's the thought process that a lot of professional players have to go through, or teachers, because they're trying to consider, okay, I want it to sound good, I want to challenge my students so they learn something, but at the same time, I don't want to give them a fingering that's like too advanced, and then they're just never going to be in tune, or it's just going to be bad, right? So there's always that gray area. There's always that line, that fine line that you're walking, right? Okay, so let's try moving on and then see what kind of options are here. So we have. Okay, so it looks like we can play the whole thing in first position. Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, now why is that okay, I think? Well, it's because 90% of the time I'm on the E string. So the E string is fine if you're gonna play a whole bunch of notes and they're all on the E string, right? And it, you can make it sound good, then you're consistent. You're consistently on the E string, right? And okay, so what other kind of options do I have? Fifth position? Okay, okay. It's nice and warm, I suppose, but it's probably not very reliable. I don't know. So personally, I wouldn't pick that for fingering. It's nice and warm, but it's too unreliable, so I'd probably just stick with. Okay, it's probably good. Okay, so moving on. Okay, so now what do we do? Because this whole thing is not, you can't play it in first position, it's too high. So now you have to figure out, okay, so am I going to stay in third? Can I stay in third? Well, I could go from third to first. And then I've got that fourth finger, which, I don't know, kind of depends on how good your fourth finger vibrato is, right? I don't know. What is there a fingering that we can find where we don't have to shift so much? it kind of looks like second position might be here to save the day again. So remember what I was saying is that going from going from third position to second position, especially if you shift on the second finger, is pretty stealthy. So this might be a good option for us. Start in third to stay in second position, then go to fourth. I'm running out of bow here. Okay, so I don't know, that one works pretty well. So I'm starting in third, I'm stealthily going down to second, and then I'm finishing off in fourth. Good. Okay, that seems to work. Okay, so that's a couple different options, right? Third position to first position, or shifting more, but it's probably pretty fairly reliable. Now in the end, instead of going to fourth, you could just go back to a third. I personally like fourth position. Anyway, okay, so that's that section. Okay, next section. So, okay, now if we play this whole thing in third, that works really well. And then we go to first. Okay, so we're in fourth when we get there. Third. And then we go to first position. Okay, so we could go to first position, but then we'd have to play an extended fourth finger in the third measure of the third line. That would be ugly. I wouldn't personally do that, because if I have to play extended fourth finger, I'm probably not going to be able to vibrato it very well. So I'm thinking, yeah, just go down to third, and then you're in first. Okay, so now we're on the last line. Okay, so you'll see the A sharp there, right? It looks like a sharp third finger. Just so you know, in case you didn't know, a sharp third finger is the same thing as a flat four. Or to put it another way, an A sharp is the same key on the piano as a B flat. It's the same key, right? It's the same black key. So don't think, when you see a sharped A like this, I would advise you, don't think of it as a high three to normal three to low two, natural three. Think of it as a flat four. That way it'll be really easy to play. So, flat four. And remember, flat four is right next to our three. So we have a flat four, that A sharp, that goes to a natural three. Well, look at that. Our fourth finger just has to touch that third finger, and then boom, our sharp three, our A sharp, is going to be perfectly in tune, probably, or at least pretty in tune, right? Okay, so now at the end, we can play this note, and so we can play that with a third finger, or a first finger, or a second finger, right? So let's just go with third position right now. Now we have to go down to first, really. Okay, so now you already know at this point, I hope, that that's bad, all right? We want to avoid, right? That's just nasty. So we're interrupting the sound quality, we're doing a string crossing, it's not pretty. So how do we get past that? Okay, so if we're in first position, so So now if we go third, uh-oh, we got a C natural. Well, it kind of looks like second position is here to save the day again, doesn't it? So, second position. Oh, how lovely. So, second position is save the day. Maybe I should just call this second position video, I don't know. But, so what's great about this fingering? Well, we're not shifting, we're not changing strings, we're not changing tonal quality. We're just stuck on the A, second position, and it's nice and warm. So, this last line. Second position. Okay, so what fingerings you guys decide to do, obviously that's up to you, your skill level, and everything else. But the more tools that you have in the toolbox, the easier it's going to be for you to find solutions that work for you. So if you suck at third position, get an exercise, get an etude that's all in third position, or it shifts a lot. If you suck at second position, like a lot of people do, especially, I won't even say it, okay? Okay. Second position, right? Also known as emergency position. If you're not comfortable with second position, just get an etude. Just get an etude that focuses on second position. They exist. I did a ton of them in college. My teacher found out that I was scared of second position, so he made me play second position for like a month, right? Anyway, so now I love second position. It's great. So find exercises specifically for the positions that you might be afraid of. Don't be afraid to use that fourth finger and vibrato that fourth finger. Vibrato that fourth finger, because I know it's very tempting to shift to a second finger in third position or whatever, and that's fine. Sometimes you have to do what you got to do, but the less you use that fourth finger, the worse it gets. The worse it gets, the less you want to use it. The less you want to use it, the worse it gets, and it's a snowball effect. So really try to force yourself to use that fourth finger vibrato. Just really relax your hand, support it with the third finger, and just keep that hand relaxed and just do some exercises. Okay, so enough about that. So I hope this video helped to try to give you some insight on what people think about when they're trying to figure out fingerings. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, hit that little alert bell as well. That'd be cool. I'd appreciate it. We're trying to get 100,000 subscribers. We can only get there if you guys hit the subscribe button. And I know most of you guys are not subscribed. So if you guys got any questions, put them in the comments below. I answer almost all the questions. I talk to a lot of you guys. And yeah, that's about it. So I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you later.